Alright, what do we got? Valclair, what are you doing? Pansia. The sound of machinery fades behind you as you venture further underground. Whoever built this facility was clearly well financed. It must have taken years to design, excavate, and build a complex like this in secrecy. You continue through the dimly lit halls, finally stepping into what appears to be another laboratory area. The corridor before you is deserted. Dr. Adrian Vauclair is somewhere within the facility, and with him the answers you seek. Anything here? No. Alright. I can't even go in there. This place is... Hi? The old man behind the glass works feverishly at his console, glancing up at you when he can. A cigarette dangles from his mouth, its blue smoke curling around his head. An overflowing ashtray sits on the lab table in front of him. The years have not been kind, but his features are instantly recognizable. Despite his age, he still has the strong chin and high cheekbones you remember from Dr. Greenwinter's DVD. This is Adrian Vauclair. As you approach, he stops what he's doing, a look of intense irritation on his face. He clears his throat, and a harsh rasping sound emerges from the loudspeaker next to the glass. So, you're the Shadowrunners that Audran warned me about. I assume you left a trail of corpses in your wake. Oh, you must be Dr. Vauclair. That's right. He scowls. I don't know why you insist on interfering with my work, but I assure you that that's over now. He reaches down and flips a switch. You hear a loud thud and a click behind you as the door shuts. You'll find that the blast doors behind you is sealed, and the laboratory you occupy is fully secure. An important precaution. We keep our test subjects in here, and they're far more dangerous than you. I won't permit you to cause any further harm, Shadowrunner. You will remain trapped where you are for your own good. Let us out, Vauclair. We need to talk. I guess I can hear you well enough from this side of the glass. Now, I want to know why the hell you've so violently interjected yourself into my business. First, you break into my estate, which you didn't even know was mine, apparently, and then you spent what must have been a small fortune to track me down. You locate my AI, destroy it, and then drive all the way out to the countryside, and finally you shoot your way into my laboratory. So I ask you, Shadowrunner, who are you, and why in God's name are you here? We came to find you, Vauclair, to stop Firewing. Except the Firewing wasn't the one after us, after all. It was you all along, wasn't it? To help stop Firewing. That is ironic. But yes, you are correct. I am the one who has been hunting you. The one who sent Apex and Audran after you. You're going to pay for that, you bastard. Then why attack the Kaisbeiser, Vauclair? Why kill Paul Amsel? It was necessary to preserve the secrecy of my work for the greater good. I know I have wronged you, and for this I am sorry. He sighs, a long rattling sigh that turns into a violent fit of coughing. The sound echoes over the loudspeaker. I don't expect you to understand, nor do I have time to explain it to you. Now, I must know. How did you learn I was still alive? How did you even know to look for me? Who sent you? We found out about you from your brother, Vauclair. He was trying to find you right up to the end. Vauclair stares, and the sudden movement of his arm sends his overflowing ashtray flying from the table in the cloud of ash. A look of dread fills his face. Up until the end? What do you mean? Where is Hermie? Explain yourself. I'm sorry, Doc. He was digging too deeply into firing, so Apex killed him. He slumps into the chair next to him, his whole body shaking. I didn't... He is suddenly overcome with another fit of coughing. He steadies himself on one arm of the chair. Apex. I should have never trusted that thing. Oh, Hermie, things I've sacrificed for all this for Pancetta. All this for tonight. Panchea. The modified virus. What's tonight, Doctor? What are you planning to do with Panchea? He looks up dazed, his eyes on focus. Yes, you know about it then. Panchea is my life's work, a permanent solution to an age-old problem. It means the end of dragons. Not just Firewing. All dragons. I'm sure you have your reasons. Fucking explain yourself. You're gonna kill all the dragons? Even Lothier? Vauclair fumbles in his pockets, produces a fresh cigarette. He lights it with shaking hands and breathes in deeply. The orange glow of the cigarette flares bright. When he exhales, the words spill out of the smoke. Firewing burned and murdered and caused untold damage in her bestial rage until the Dragonfall, until I stopped her. But that destruction was merely a symptom of a greater cancer. Kind of weird that you're smoking, you're talking about cancer. Firewing wrought destruction with fire and claw. The dragons of today, Lothier, Dunkelzan, Seladir, they kill and conquer with subtle tools, deception and manipulation. They use us as pawns, playing pieces, puppets in their millennia-long machinations. Oh yes, dragons are a cancer. One that will conquer, or worse, destroy all of humanity if we do not stop it. One of the metasized that when the world awakened. An ironic metaphor, since it was failing my own body that would allow me to seal it. Let me guess, you have cancer. He is racked again by violent coughing. Allows it to subside. Takes another long drag of the cigarette, the ash creeping closer and closer to his mouth. I have leukemia, cancer of the blood, no doubt brought on by the radiations of the socks. It was when I heard my doctor's diagnosis that I realized what I had to do, what my life's work would be in the time I had left. I'm sorry, Hermie. I'm sorry you won't be able to see it yourself. I'm sorry I failed you. Vauclair turns his attention back to the computer, stubbing out his cigarette. He grabs a fresh one from the pack and lights it. Tonight, I will release Panchea on the world. And how absurd the instrument of dragonkind's destruction. He presses a button on the terminal. A large observation window at the far end of the room rises slowly. Will be carried by Firewing herself. Fuck! Hi. Through the glass, you see a prostrate form of a dragon far below. An enormous set of shackles binds it, and a maze of tubes snakes into its body. The tubes connect a cruel-looking apparatus that has been mounted to the wall. Shit, that's a dragon? Son of a bitch, look at that. He found her alive in the socks after all. Tonight, Firewing will fly again. Infected with Panchea, she will slowly be destroyed from within. But before that happens, she will provide the catalyst for global transmission of the virus. I don't like the sound of that, Chief. Firewing's fire will carry the agent in its dormant state. Any metahumans exposed will become carriers, will spread the disease to the dragons. The carriers will be infected with Panchea as well, but it will not harm them. To non-dragons, it's a nuisance, nothing more. When a critical mass of carriers is achieved, my Panchea will become unstoppable. It will spread across the globe in a relentless tide. However, if it does not reach their critical mass, it will fizzle out, die out, become inert. Hence, the need for a ground zero. A flashpoint for a mass infection event. I'm sorry, Hermie. I know you loved your Flux State, but it doesn't matter now. It must be Berlin. Hold on! You're gonna stick the Firewing on Berlin? To save the world, yes. For Panchea to work, Berlin must burn. A sacrifice won for the greater good. Firewing was the only one that was causing destruction. Why the other we cause chaos in our own right. If the dragons don't, some corporation's gonna do the same thing as they did. It doesn't fucking matter. Firewing will breathe her infected fire upon Berlin. Thousands will die, and through destruction, the virus will take the air. It critical mass of Berlin's metahuman population will be exposed, but no one will even think to quarantine the city until it's too late. The Flux State lacks any centralized authority. Corporations will evacuate on their own. Thousands will flee the city, infected. He mutters, his voice growing more detached. Oh yes, Hermie. Berlin is the perfect flashpoint. It wasn't even supposed to happen tonight, no, but this little intervention of yours leaves us no choice, so let us see. Tonight's wind pattern dictates the ground zero will be Temple off Schottenberg. Highly populated, the virus will spread quickly enough from there. That's only a few kilometers from the Cruisebizer. The Cruisebizer? I swear a cafes in the Cruisebizer. Look, you're crazy. We're probably all going to die, but we're not letting you get away with this. Nonsense. You are sealed tight in the laboratory. Impotent to stop me. The old man eyes the secret button in his hand, fishes out another from his pack and lights it with the first. Then he returns to his console, reaching to the side for a microphone. He mumbles something into the receiver. You can barely make out the name Audron. Shit. Security will be here soon, and they will take care of you. Do not worry, you will not be harmed. The sacrifice that I'm making tonight is necessary. It's a necessary evil. It can't be helped, but as long as you remain confined, I see no reason to kill you. So how are you going to get Firewing to go along with this plan of yours? Oh, that's simple enough. He gestures to his left. She has no choice. Who's she? The gaunt woman in the containment cell stands rigidly, her face pressed against the glass, her haunted eyes tracking your every move. She appears frightened, disoriented, lost. Her mouth moves silently, her voice muted by the cage glass. So the stories Green Winters found were true. Firewing's astral form was separated from her body when she fell. You've trapped her from somehow. Yes, but that came later. In 2012, we took down Firewing with an experimental weapon. This device, suffice to say, I couldn't fully predict how it would affect her. In 2036, I led a search team into the Socks. I had to know what really happened to the creature that I had slain. We found her alive in a way. The dragon's astral form, her spirit, you might say, had been ripped from her body by the weapon. It was trapped inside a young woman living in the Socks. A mob of glowpunks revered her, treated her like a goddess. I transported the young woman in the dragon's body where I could study them. You mean she's been in that cell for almost 20 years? That's not her fault! It's not her fault that Firewing's astral form got into her. You are a monster! You are... No choice. A creature separated from its astral form cannot live more than a few hours before they both die. It was a highly intensity radiation of the Socks combined with the magical creature inside her that allowed the woman to live as long as she has. So, the environment within her containment chamber mirrors that of the Socks. It allows to keep Firewing alive all these years, while her bestial shell remains chained up below. Now, as for her physical form, that's simple as well. We drilled a series of electrical charges directly into her skull. When we release the Firewing's body, empty of her astral self, we will trigger all the vicious instincts and primal urges left in her reptile brain. She will release her fire and we will command it. That's horrific, even for a mass-murdering dragon. Misplaced empathy. A beast blazed a path of fiery destruction across Germany. But the woman is... No matter. I have more important things to do than to debate morality with you. Firewing must fly, and Berlin must be sacrificed. It must be tonight. Now where is damned Audron? You don't burn a city and call it a sacrifice. You call it what it is. You call it a mass murder. Valclair stiffens, turning to face you. Anger washes across his face. Wasn't mass murder when America dropped the atomic bomb on Japan? My myopic would say yes, just as you are now. But they did it for a cause, to shorten the agony of war, to save lives of thousands upon thousands of soldiers. I do the same, for the good of the world. I'm an academic, you piece of shit. You know America was pretty divided on the morality of the act, right? Some even consider it a crime against humanity. We're not talking ethics here. We're talking parallels. What I do to prevent a greater evil from taking place. Humanity was born to reproduce, to multiply. But dragons Dragons were born to acquire, to accumulate, to hoard. Both strive to bend the world to their will. Humanity has conquered the air, land, and sea through sheer numbers. Dragons, however, employ different means altogether. Throughout history, they have allowed us to do the heavy lifting while they pull the strings. There are 17 great dragons in the world today. 17 ancient worms, millennia old, still dividing the planet into 17 piles of gold to nest upon, in front of our eyes. Once upon a time, they burned castles to steal the treasure we collected, laid waste to entire armies, and here in the sixth world, it's no longer about tooth and claw and fiery breath. Now it's public relations, marketing, mergers, and acquisitions. You see it every day. Dragons on the Trilido. In the boardrooms, they gather influence, wealth, power, continually hoarding and hoarding until one of them sits atop of it all. Perhaps not in this cycle door, perhaps not next, but one day one worm will stand alone triumphant, with all of humanity as its cattle, with all the world as its prize, and that I will not allow. What if the virus mutates into a strain that can kill us too? An intelligent craftsman from a Shadowrunner? Surprising. I'm a smart motherfucker! Unfortunately, I don't have the time to explain it to you in detail, and since you are locked in the laboratory with no chance of escape, I don't really need to. But understand this, I am an expert in my field. That is not an idle boast, it is a certified fact, and I have worked with nearly unlimited resources for 40 years, focused on one goal. 42 years of isolation, of secrecy, dead to the world, dead to my brother, all of this, my life mission. It'll work. I promise you it will work. The because I said so defense. Very professional of you, Doctor. He shoots you an icy glare. Say what you want. It matters little to me. Pancheo will change the world. In the end, you will thank me. This plan of yours killed your brother. Was it worth it? No! Nothing can make that right. Nothing! Damn it, Hermie. Why couldn't you just let me go? Listen to reason, Claire. Would Hermie want you to do this? You do not know my brother, Shadowrunner. Do not presume to speak to me on his behalf. Hermie would support me in this, if he knew what I knew. I've watched hours of your brother's videos footage, Vauclair. I probably know better than him and anyone alive, excepting yourself. You've watched footage, and that makes you think you know the man? You know nothing. I know that he wanted you to stop all this years ago. He begged you to, and you promised him you'd try. Vauclair falls silent. A wisp of smoke traces its away from its tip of the cigarette to the ceiling. She's right, Vauclair. Your brother was a miserable bastard, but he died trying to save you. If you don't turn back from this, your death will have meant nothing. His death will have meant nothing. Nothing at all. That's enough. Hermie's death was a tragedy. I will not let you use it to manipulate me. Look. Alright. There are worse things out there than dragons, Vauclair. Exterminating one kit through open the door to another. Another pearl of wisdom from the Shadowrunner. The great dragons represent an incalculable threat to our survival as a species. To spare them, for fear of some unknown nebulous danger, would be absurd. Besides which, there is nothing worse than a dragon. I am in a position to know. You're wrong. An astral entity told me about things that exist out on the meta planes. Horrifying things that yet we can't even hope to comprehend. There's always something bigger and badder. If it's not dragons, it's titans. If it's not titans, it's primordials. If it's not primordials, it's gods. Does that matter? Even if your spirit stories are true, the dragons are what threat us now. But dragons don't exist in a vacuum. They're part of the awakened world ecosystem. They have been since the beginning of them. Let's agree this is true. Why does it matter? Smallpox was with us since the beginning, but I don't see anyone crying over its eradication. That's a false equivocance, Vauclair. You're an intelligent man. You know the dangers of what you're proposing. You just don't want to acknowledge them. I will not just sit back and let them take over the world. I must act. I will act. You may be right, Vauclair, but this isn't the answer. Even if you succeed, eliminating the dragons will create a dangerous power vacuum. He laughs. A pointless argument. Any power vacuum created through dragonkind's extermination will be filled by meta-humanity. Any backlash will right itself over time. I am playing the long game, Shadowrunner, one that has played out over thousands of years. When you think on that scale, everything is possible. Humanity will endure and the dragons will perish. Look, you're not infallible, Doctor. You've already made a mistake here, and people died as a result. Mistakes? So says the career criminal trapped in the containment room. I've read some of your inter-office communications. There have been a number of deaths over the years here, haven't there? He paused. Yes, we suffered losses. They were tragic, but people have accepted that there would be risk. They made their own choice. I won't take the blame for that. No. I think I get they made their own decisions, but from what I was reading, some of those people died from your negligence. Basic lapse in lab safety, it said. Is there some point you're trying to make, or are you just trying to anger me? You already screwed up, Doctor. People died because of it. Are you willing to work it on a global scale? It will work, I'm telling you. Bet that you told your researchers that their lab would be safe, too. Look how that turned out. Why am I even talking to you? You're trapped in here. I still got work to do. Adrian will be here soon enough. If Hermie was here right now, listening to this conversation, he'd tell you to stop this. Deny it if you want, but you know it's true. How dare you presume to speak for my brother? To hell with you, live. You're going to be front and center. See to her Firewing's return. I will see for it myself. I'm your what, Doc? He flits his eyes to the ground. I'm not... If Hermie were here... Oh, God. If Hermie were here, he wouldn't support this. He would point out the risks, the unknowns, the sacrifices, much as he always had before he would try to stop me. You can still have the chance to give him what he wanted. You can put a stop to this before more people get killed. For 40 years, I ignored the rest of the world. I ignored the media, the military, the board of directors at Dial, and my little brother. No. Especially my little brother. I wouldn't listen to them because I knew I was right. I knew what had to be done. What they were all blind to. I was Hermie's big brother. I was the great, celebrated dragon slayer. I knew better. You see this lab? The complex you're standing in? The planet that it was built to serve? I sacrificed everything for this. My job, my health, my family. I was prepared to sacrifice Berlin to feed those people to the same fires I spent my youth trying to extinguish. And all the while, Hermie was telling me that I wasn't right. And I refused to listen. My refusal killed him. My little brother. The person I loved most in this world. If I only had heard him, none of this would have happened. I'll be damned. I think you talked him out of it. The old man lets out a heavy sigh, his entire body trembling. When he recovers, he looks almost like a different man. Tired, frail, defeated. My cure. Panchea isn't ready. I was ready to turn a blind eye to the flaws and deploy it anyway, but my eyes are open now, and I don't like what I see. I cannot change what's been done. I can't bring Hermie back, but I can put a stop to this. I can finally listen to what he was always trying to tell me, to what I would never hear him say, and so it shall. I know that was a hard decision, Vauclair. It's the right one. More than 4 decades of planning, all undone in the span of a single conversation. My brother's words delivered through the mouth of a criminal. I finally listened, Hermie. 42 years too late. Through the speakers, you can hear the loud sound of heavy footsteps approaching. Audrey, there's been a change of plans. No time, Doc. We're waking up the dragon's physical form right now. Everything is ready for procedure to begin. You should see it. There will be no procedure, Audrey. You're gonna have to repeat that. The plan... My plan is flawed. Fatally so. The dragon will not fly tonight. Audrey stops in his tracks. He stares at Valclair, unblinking. This must come to a shock to you. And I'm sorry for that. Your belief in our cause was second only to my own. The orc goes on staring at the old man for a long time. Then something in his face changes. If you feel that way, if that's the way you feel, it's been an honor, Doctor. The honor has been mine. You're an idiot! The scarred orc stares at you through the glass as Valclair's body cools at his feet. His eyes are brimming with hate. You shouldn't have made me do that, asshole. Doc was like family to me. I didn't make you do anything. You murdered him. He was gonna put a stop to it, the plan. You think I'd just stand by and let that happen? He's stopping it because it won't work, you dumbass! It will. The dragons will die. I've seen what Penchia can do. And the doc showed me the tissue samples. It melted them. The dragons will die, yes, but there's no telling what else might happen. Unleashing that shit could have deadly consequences for all of us. And... Oh, you son of a bitch. Look who's talking. For all his faults, Valclair was a hero. And now he's dead and it's your fault. So what? So you want this thing to happen? So you're willing to kill everyone, including yourself, for it? What I want is change. This world is sick. Anyone with half a brain can see that. I'm going to use the doc's wonderbug to poison it back to health. It might get better, or it might die. Either would be better than languishing at like this. And if I die, well, so what? You think that life has been a bundle of laughs for me? I'll happily trade mine to make the world different. So, you want to change the world, but you don't care what it changes into. That's insane, Audrey. Yeah, maybe. But it'll be interesting and I'll be the cause of it. Not a dragon, not a Metacorp, me. All by myself changing the world. Speaking of changes, your life is about to get a lot more exciting. Did Doc tell you that you were standing in the animal research lab? It's overflowing with test subjects. They don't play well with others. Nasty, dangerous things. And it's well past their feeding time. Oh, shit. And now, if you excuse me, I got a dragon to wake up. If you're lucky when I get back, I'll put a bullet in you. If you're lucky, I might even put it in your head. Quick and clean, like your pal, Amzel. You probably shouldn't count on that, though. Well, the fuck. Oh, it's a little baby thing. Alright.